There it is. Thank you very much, Mr. Clyburn. I thank you so much for this hearing. It's so important. And let me thank all of our witnesses today for the hard work that they're doing to save lives. Our cities and our states, with representatives like you have today, literally have been doing the kind of work that not only saves lives, but it also helps us to understand what else we need to do in order to be of assistance to them. I am one that understands very thoroughly that resources make a difference. To the degree you have the resources that you need to fight the fight, and in this case, it means masks. It means all of the testing materials that are needed. It means the vaccinations. To the degree that they have this, they can continue to do the kind of work that they're doing. I am so worried, however, that this growing political movement by these anti-vaccine activists and pro-Trump Republicans is undermining their work. We find, I'm told, in some of the research that's done, that it is found that there's a huge correlation between belief in misinformation and being unvaccinated. This was said by a woman named Liz Hamill, who heads public opinion research for the Kaiser Family Foundation, a nonpartisan healthcare think tank. Between conservative media and GOP politicians, many Republican voters are being plummeted with bad science about vaccines almost daily. Kaiser's polling found that 94% of Republicans think one or more false statements about COVID-19 and vaccine safely might be true. Over the past 8 months, Hamill has watched as Republican vaccination rates have fallen further and further behind the rest of Americans, while Republicans tracked other groups in terms of vaccination rates earlier this year. Kaiser's research shows that now an unvaccinated person is 3 times as likely to lean Republican as they are to lean Democrats. A new analysis by NPR suggests that Republicans are probably dying at a higher rate as a result. A nationwide comparison of 2020 presidential election results and COVID-19 death rates since vaccines became available to all adults found that counties that voted heavily for Trump had nearly 3 times the COVID-19 mortality rate of those that went for Joe Biden. Those counties also had far lower vaccination rates. Counties that went heavily for Donald Trump have seen much lower vaccination rates and much higher death rates. Now, to our witnesses here today, while you talk about some of the things that you're doing, having some ambassadors, volunteer people going out, talking with folks, do you think that you could be more definitive? For example, you have someone who is advising people, and I'm going to see if I can get his name, to drink their own urine. And so when you have this kind of misinformation that is constantly, bombarding folks, it undermines all the work that you're doing. Can you get more definitive? Can you describe better? Can you have in your ads, real life information about people who are not vaccinated or dying at a rate of late? Can you put that up and out as we should be thinking about how we should do it? Let me go right to any one of our, Mr. Inslee, since you're from us and you've worked with us, you know what we try and do. What do you think about being tougher, more definitive, and using the words that need to be used in order to dissuade people from not getting vaccinated?
Well, first I want to congratulate Governor Ricketts. He's done some good things in Nebraska. Congratulate him for some of his successes. But I do think there's just is a sad reality we have to recognize, and that is that there has been a profoundly different approach to this whole pandemic, based on whether you're red or blue. That's just a reality. And when we started this, the defeated president continually belittled the importance of this, said it's going to be over by Easter. And I remember asking him for help early on in this pandemic. He said it wasn't his job to help the states. And now we got a president, I think, who's really helping out every time we ask for help. And it started there. But I just want to suggest that this is a larger problem than just COVID. The virus of deception about our organs of democracy, there's two viruses. One is the virus of COVID and one is falsity. And that falsity is not just about COVID. It's about who won the last election. Listen, if you have one party telling their members that you can't trust government enough to even decide who won the last election, it's pretty certain they're not going to trust government when government shares the truth about this virus and the effectiveness of vaccine. And the sad truth is we have one party that has created the big lie, certainly about who won the last election, and significant mistruths for many, and I'm not counting Governor Ricketts in his camp, but many of his colleagues have continued to belittle the effectiveness of these measures. And that's just a sad reality. Now, how do we change that situation? We try to appeal to the better angels of their nature to knock it off and stop supporting and nominating candidates who want to continue to lie about basic truths in our democracy. That's the infection we have of willing to infect people with falsity. And we saw it on January 6th.
Yes.
And we saw it every day when I can't get Republicans to get vaccinated. And by the way, in my state, unfortunately, I just have to share you this. In my state, there is a profound difference in the vaccination rates between the red and blue counties in my state. It's just a reality. And I can't get Republicans enough to respond to that. So maybe Governor Ricketts can convince them.
Thank you,
Governor. The gentlelady's time has expired.